Lots of questions answered, but more questions are raised. Hello, everyone. It's Leo, and it's time to talk about episode 7 from Mirai Days, which gave us sadness, melancholy, and I feel like it's bringing another aspect of time, which was really nice. So, I feel like the first answer that this episode gives us is who Chronosto is, which is a being that erases all existence. And that being is described as the first being. It was there before everything else. And that being is not with its full power any longer. And Ire, our villain, has found a way to make Chronosto come back through dark magic. I mean, he studied dark magic to get the answer. And the answer is very simple. He would use Hachan, or Mother da Papa, as he says, he will use her and her magic power to feed that little dog that tricked me, that I thought was innocent, to become Chronosto again. And when he goes and finds Mother da Papa, the new Mother da Papa, or Hachan, or Cure Felice, he tells her his plan, because in his mind, he will not miss and nothing will go wrong. And he tries to capture her so that she would become food for Chronosto. And what happens is that Hachan at that time used her power and transferred her power to another existence. She created Hisui, a new existence, and transferred her power to Hisui. And at the same time, she sent Hisui and the Linkle Stones. She powered up the Linkle Stones, and she sent Hisui to Mirai and Riko so both of them would protect her. Obviously, that was the best that Hachan could do at that moment, and he was not able to capture her, only the Linkle's MAHOU, which was what was left of her, I feel like. The only thing that bothered me at that moment is that we have someone who is a human. He has no magic power, and he, just by studying everything and getting a little bit of Deusmast's power and Chronosto as well, he was able to capture the most powerful being in the magical world. I mean, she was not in the magical world, but she is from the magical world. And she is the most powerful being, and just like that. Girl, that battle should have been harder and should have been fiercer on Felice's side. Felice deserved a battle scene already. Girl, where is Felice? I mean, now we know. And when we come back to present time, we see that Hachan is back, but she has no magical power. And they do not know where Hisui is, what happened to her. And it is kind of not explained. Like, when I watched it, I believed that Hachan, or Cure Felice, was trapped inside the incense thing, and her power was slowly being used to feed Chronosto, but that wasn't really the case. I feel like she actually disappeared and she was nowhere. And Hisui was traveling with her power. The magical power that Hachan had was with Hisui. And then now it is the contrary. Hisui isn't back because her power is captured by Chronosto, and Chronosto is back. And Hachan's existence is now back into reality. But Hisui is nowhere to be seen. And we have this drama throughout the whole episode. We do not know where Hisui is. And the girls don't know. Hachan doesn't know either. And there is the looming feeling of sadness and uncertainty all over the episode. And I love the soundtrack. I mean, the soundtrack has been used already in other episodes, but it matched this episode perfectly with the tone that they were going for. And we have some other answers as well, such as who was that woman that Ire that was in Ire's memories. Obviously, it was clear that it was her mom, that it was someone from the magic world that came to the human world. And now we know she is called Irina, and she came to the human world. She was from the magic world. She came to the human world. She fell in love. She had Ire, but she passed away at a very early age, and he was an orphan from a very early age as well. And his plan was to capture Chronosto and for Chronosto to stop time so he could live forever in that happy moment that he lived in. And we discovered that in this episode, we have in town some stone statues, just like we saw from Ayer. And now we know that those stone statues are actually people who are trapped inside their dreams, because we see it happening with Sota. Before we go into Sota, other events also come into place. We have the girls having a lot of memories. And this is happening because of Chronosto. Chronosto is back. And so their ability of seeing the past again and having those visions from the past, they're coming very strong. And it's interesting because we see them way more focused on past visions in this episode. The random time events that happen in Mirai Days, they're random, as in sometimes they show the future, sometimes they show the past. In this episode, most of the visions were from the past, except for one that was from a very close future. And I feel like that is related to Chronosto himself, because Chronosto is kind of a being that, he wants to stop time. That is his existence purpose, but he obviously is focusing on people's past. He shows the future that is not a good one and focuses on the past. That is what Ayer wants to do. That is what happens to Sota. And we see the girls also having lots of past memories. But those past memories that the girls see, they are either random or not necessarily happy. They're sad memories. Like, one of the memories that was very important for this episode was a dialogue between Mirai and Riko, that they were very sad because Hachan has disappeared. You know, before Hachan became Cure Felice, both of them were wishing Hachan would come back, but there was this uncertainty, just like it's happening with Hisui. And at that time, Mirai told Riko that they needed to smile. They needed to try to be happy so that Hachan would come back to them, because that is something that Hachan told them. And in the present, it is now Riko's time to tell Mirai that she needs to smile while waiting for Hisui, because Mirai was very sad and she was blaming herself. Obviously, there was nothing to blame when it comes to Hisui. I mean, everything about Hisui is not their fault. They really did what they had to do, but they couldn't do anything. We also see Betty in this episode talking about dark magic. We have other scenes from the past. One of them is from Riko while she was studying to be a teacher in the magical world. It's nice that we have certain moments that we see the girls as adults trying to understand adult life, adulthood, very young adults trying to maneuver onto life. We see one from Nico, which is this one. We see another one from Mirai as well while they're playing bowling. And it is interesting because all of those things, they happen in episode between the start and the end of episode 49 from the original MAHOU. And I feel like it's not that they're filling the gaps, because there are no gaps. The story is already complete, but I feel like they're adding a lot more depth, a lot more events onto the already very complete story of MAHOU, and that is so good. And now we go see that Mirai has a vision from the future, and she sees Sota being attacked by a bizarre creature, and Chronosto is now with their own specific form. And we discovered that Chronosto is not with his full powers back, and he needs to capture time from people. That is why he is going around. We don't see that, but we see Mirai's classmates talking about it. He goes around collecting time from people, and it is an interesting perspective, because what happens to Sota is, Sota always wanted to play football or soccer, and I'm Brazilian, so for me, both of them are the same thing. And when he is growing up, he still loves football, but he sees a vision of himself in the future, and he is not playing football. He's probably not good enough. Or maybe life hasn't made it possible for him to use his talent and his passion for football. Because it happens. Sometimes you are good enough. But in life, you're not going to be able to do what you're good at, because it's not going to be a good job for you. Maybe you have to work to, bring food to your house, and you're not able to give enough time for that dream, there are lots of instances in which you are not able to follow what you dreamt for yourself. And that is what happened to Sota. And so Chronosto comes to him and says, I am here presenting you with a horrible future. Do you want to go to that future? Keep on living life normally? Or do you want to come back to the past where you were happy and stay there forever? I can understand when someone says, I don't want that horrible future. I want to stay here in the past. I can totally understand that. That is such a human thing to do. And that's what he does. That is what people seem to be doing. And while they do that, that is when Chronosto feeds himself with time that he captures from people. And that is what he's doing. But obviously the girls appear and they have a little combat with their ruby forms. We have Mirai and Riko transforming. And Chronosto proposes the same thing for the girls. I will stop time and you will live in a time where Hisui was alive. Obviously, Mirai, she doesn't even have much time to answer that, but she keeps on thinking, what if I do that? What if we go back to a time in which Hisui was alive still? And they obviously, that does not come into fruition, but we have Hachan standing in front of her and saying, don't do that. And at that time, I really believed that Hachan was going to manifest some sort of magical power. Unfortunately, it wasn't today. But we have them finishing the combat and Sota coming back. Sota coming back was, to me, a downside because, they were just saying, Sota, come back to your horrible future, your miserable life, and leave those happy memories. It was so easy for him to come back when we're dealing with something that doesn't seem to be that simple. And now I have a question for you. If you're watching this video, please answer. When they are dialoguing and talking to Sota, we have Hachan. And Hachan seems to have grown just at that scene. Or was it the drawing that was different? Because he talks to Hachan. And I thought, she looks taller. She looks different than before. Because the others have grown and she hasn't. And she looks a little taller. Did she grow up just to talk to him? Or is it just my imagination? So I don't know. I don't really like because I feel like Mirai Days is really good in the topics that they bring. And then now they're dealing with something so complex that the solutions seem to be very simple. I don't know. I need more time. I need more episodes with this scenario of people having their dreams shattered and wanting to stay in the past. Are they going to be able to just simply make it so that they come back? Or do they have to take it by force, maybe? Because this time Sota was a collaborator in a way. In other moments, he might not be. The victim might not be collaborating. They might want to stay in the past. Maybe if they defeat the monster that Chronosto creates, maybe the stone statue might come back. I don't know. Let's wait and see what it has in store for us. And so at the end, we have another scene in which the girls learn about Irina and Ayer's longing to stay with his mom forever. And we also learn another thing. And then we have a special messenger, which is Chikurun. This is another character I really did not want to see. Oh my god. But he is here, he is there. And he just comes with a message with the magical world saying that they already know where Hisui is. And that's how the episode ends. But it's very funny that they already answer where Hisui is in the preview of the next episode. And they just simply say, Hisui is inside of Hachan. The answer has already been given to us in the episode preview. And that was kind of funny, not gonna lie. But I feel like this was another very strong, very solid episode from Mirai Days. And I know I had a little problem with the Sota part, but it's hard, especially when we're talking about a show of 12 episodes. We've already passed the midpoint of the show. it's hard to go deeper into those things, and they're probably not going to have enough time to do that, because if they did, there was not going to be enough time for the rest of the things which are more relevant. I mean, we're talking about Mirai, Riko, Hachan, Hisui, the magic power, and Ayer, and, Chronosto. So, obviously, there are things that will take priority in the narrative. I forgot to mention one thing about Chronosto. Chronosto seemed to be a scary creature, but now I feel like they are giving a pathetic vibe to him. I don't know if they don't want to make him super scary or super threatening for now, but I wonder what they're cooking with Chronosto. I am very, very curious. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinema channel here on YouTube, on Patreon. If you also support me on Throne, thank you very much. And if you've watched the episode, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.